much of the microscopic life in the oceans. Iron is a key nutrient, but too much of a good thing can be bad. Overdoses of iron in single-celled organisms more than 2 billion years ago may have slowed the evolution of Earth's atmosphere. These organisms are known as cyanobacteria, and they're still around today. As they convert nutrients and sunlight into usable energy, they release oxygen. Much of it bubbles to the surface and enters the atmosphere. In fact, cyanobacteria were responsible for giving Earth an oxygen-rich atmosphere in the first place. The early atmosphere contained almost no oxygen at all. As cyanobacteria developed and spread, though, they pumped vast amounts of it into the air. There was an especially big uptick about 2.3 billion years ago. A recent study, though, says that large amounts of iron in the water may have slowed things down. Iron-rich water was released from volcanoes on the ocean floor. The iron overloaded many of the microscopic organisms, killing them off. So the atmosphere got its oxygen in waves. When there was just the right amount of iron, lots of oxygen was added. But when there was too much iron, the process slowed down, delaying the transformation to the life-supporting blanket of air we enjoy today. Science in the Sea is a production of the University of Texas Marine Science Institute at Port Aransas. I'm Holly Brawley.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
One name you should know, the best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
It's summer savings time at Toyota of Escondido. For the first time ever, you can drive home any bold new 2015 Camry or gas-saving Prius Hybrid with 0 APR factory financing for 60 months. Don't miss out.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
Come in today and save more than ever before on over 12.5 acres of new and pre-owned Toyotas. 0 APR factory financing on approved good credit. 60 monthly payments of $16.67 per 1,000 borrowed. Down payment varies with credit.
Toyota of Escondido.
Financing includes dealer fees and excludes tax and license. Ends July 6th.
Hey, this is Steve Sanchez, and do you know in 2007, I went off to the doctor for a basic checkup, and he informed me, Steve, you got plaque built up around your heart, and you're going to need stents. I informed him, with no offense, doc, I need a second opinion. I go off to a naturopathic doctor, and he introduces me to something called Zango. It's a juice made of the whole mangosteen fruit. You know, the mangosteen fruit has been used for centuries for healing. So, hey, what do I have to lose? I tried it. 3 months later, I go back to my cardiologist, no plaque, no stents, and I'm proud to say 7.5 years later, I'm stent-free. I want to turn you on to Zango because it's the only true 100% mangosteen fruit juice. It's patented. In fact, the Mayo Clinic is paying attention because they're doing an extensive study because they cannot ignore all the testimonials around the world. I want to give you a free sample of the Zango juice today. Simply call 888-309-5656. That's 888-309-5656 for your free mangosteen juice sample today from the company called Zango.
The founder of a world-renowned symphony made up of children.
The Inland Empire's most heroic teacher.
The world-famous mixed martial arts hero, Batiste Mansour.
The lady who's saving homeless kids in Redlands.
The Inland Empire has thousands of community, business, and kid heroes. Each week, we share their stories with you. Join us for My Awesome Empire and find out why the Inland Empire is so great.
Saturday afternoons at 5 p.m. on AM 1050 and KCAAradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. To be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
Southern California's Inland Talk Express is KCAA News Talk 1050.
Welcome to Safe Money Talk with Rick Lewag. Rick is a safe money specialist, primarily serving Southern California, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Lewag is a licensed insurance professional in the state of California and specializes in working with business owners, people who are near retirement, or those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk to you about safe money and retirement, your host, Rick Lewag.
Hello and welcome. I'm Rick Lewag, and I want to thank you for joining me this week on Safe Money Talk. Now, if you're new to the show, this is where you'll get the straight talk about what the greatest threats are to your retirement savings or your business. Now, I guarantee you aren't going to hear about these from your CPA, your attorney, your group health insurance agent, and especially not from your broker or your financial planner. Now, if you're close to or currently retired, or if you own a business, you can tune in here every week and get clear, concise, and current information about what the real threats are to your money or your business. Plus, you'll get practical, common sense advice from me and many well-known guests that I invite from time to time to come on the show about what you can do today to protect your retirement nest egg or your business from those threats. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a retirement income and asset protection advisor, which is really just a fancy way of saying that I show seniors and business owners how to protect what they've worked so hard to build up. Now, I've written 2 books on the subject. I've spoken to thousands of seniors and business owners, either live or as a guest on other syndicated radio and TV shows. And even though I'm headquartered here in Southern California, I advise clients nationwide about how to protect, preserve, and prolong their retirement savings or protect their businesses. Now, we're going to cover a lot of different topics in these 1-hour shows. And if you'd like to call in and ask me or one of my guests a question, or if you just want to comment on something pertinent to what the show's subject is, well, feel free to call in. If you're local here in the Inland Empire, just call 909-888-5222. And if you're outside the Inland Empire, the toll-free number is 888-909-1050. Now, as usual, I've got a lot to cover in today's show, so let's go ahead and get started. Today I want to talk about 2 what I consider very, very important topics. First, in the first segment, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake that I see seniors making today with their retirement savings. And the second part of the show, you're not going to want to miss this because I'm going to talk about what I consider to be the biggest threat of all to your retirement savings or your business. Of all the questions that I'm asked, the most common is, Rick, what's the biggest mistake that you see seniors making regarding their retirement savings? Now, since 1988, when I was just a tenderfoot investment officer at a small bank in Santa Barbara, the number one mistake that I see being made by retirees is having the portion of their retirement savings that they just can't afford to lose under any circumstances exposed to risk, because they've confused investing with savings. Now, many retirees treat investing and savings exactly the same. And, you know, it's an easy mistake to make if you're not financially literate or if you've just gotten bad advice. But by making that one simple mistake, the consequences could be devastating to your retirement nest eggs and the quality of your retirement. It's called retirement savings on purpose and for a reason. In 1988, I was one of the first people in the United States that had a securities and an insurance license to be hired within a bank to sell investment and insurance products to bank customers. Now, in 1988, it was pretty novel to see somebody in a branch, especially a retail bank, there just to advise and sell investments and insurance products to bank customers. In fact, prior to 1988, it was basically forbidden by law until Reagan's administration changed it. Now, today, it's pretty commonplace to see a sign above a desk in your bank that says investments. Now, when I first went to work at the bank, as an investment officer in 1988, one of the first lessons that they taught us was this: make sure that the bank clients understand the difference between investing and saving. The way the bank taught us how to explain it to clients, it was really so simple that my little 12-year-old daughter Ellie could understand it. Basically, investing incurs risk. Savings does not. It's that simple. If you look at what I would consider the risk pyramid, now just try to picture the food pyramid, okay, with grains and meats and sugars and whatever. Just look at a pyramid. At the very top of that risk pyramid would be gambling, let's say, gambling. Just below that, lower in the middle of the pyramid, you would have investments, because there's more risk incurred there. And at the very bottom of the risk pyramid, you would have savings, because investing incurs risk, but savings does not. It's so elementary that it's almost ridiculous. However, this simple little mistake has, and it will continue to devastate retirement plans throughout the world. Now, for an example, investment products include mutual funds, individual stocks and bonds, real estate, precious metals like platinum, gold, and silver, collectibles like artwork or expensive cars, and variable annuities. Now, all of these are investments that expose your money to varying degrees of risk, and that risk is due to market swings or market fluctuations. In simple terms, these are the places where you put your money and you can lose it. Now, if you own any of these, your money can be lost due to market fluctuations, which are out of your control. Now, savings vehicles, on the other hand, they incur no risk to your money. Examples of savings vehicles would be your bank certificates of deposit, for example, money market accounts, some government securities, and fixed annuities. Now, none of these incur risk to your principal or any of your gains due to what we would call market fluctuations that happen to be out of your control. Now, when I'm sitting down with a prospective new client, one of the very first questions that I'm going to ask them is this: out of this money that you've shown me that you have, how much of your retirement savings, how much of this retirement nest egg that you've built up can you comfortably afford to lose? Now, it's funny because the looks that I get from these people vary from quizzical to just downright astounded. They'll look at me, and usually the response is the same. They'll say, well, Rick, of course, we don't want to lose any of it. We can't afford to lose any of it. Well, my next question usually results in the same quizzical look as the first question. And my second question is always, well, if you can't afford to lose any of this money, tell me then, why do you have it somewhere where you can lose it? Now, that's a valid question to ask my clients, and it's one that you should be asking yourself. How much of your retirement savings can you comfortably afford to lose? Think, how much of your money is exposed to risk right now due to market fluctuations? And more importantly, have you been worrying lately if it's safe or not? Well, if you are worried, it's most likely not safe. Which brings me all the way back to the number one mistake that seniors make with their retirement savings, which is having the portion that they absolutely can't afford to lose under any circumstance exposed to risk of loss because it happens to be in an investment vehicle and not a safe savings vehicle, which would protect their money. Now, I explain this in much more detail in the new book that I just wrote that I titled, You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat: How Obamacare Threatens Your Retirement Savings. Now, it's sold on Amazon.com, but if you call now at 800-274-3233, 800-274-3894. Tell the operator that you're a Safe Money Talk listener, and we'll send it out to you absolutely free. That's 800-274-3894. Or you can simply go to the website. Just go to www.myobamacarebook.com. You can get it there as well, absolutely free. In the book, you'll also learn about what I consider to be the greatest risk of all to your retirement savings after 2010. I'm going to talk about it a little bit tonight. And even though it poses the biggest risk of all to the safety of your retirement savings, you've never heard a word about it from your broker, your money manager, or even your CPA. So call now, and I'll send it right out to you. Now, there are 3 reasons why I believe that you have the portion of your retirement savings that you can't afford to lose somewhere where you can lose it. The first is you probably really don't understand the severity of the risks to your retirement savings and how much more devastating any losses can be to your accounts now that you're later on in life. So you're probably using the same financial vehicles that you used when you were younger to accumulate and build up your nest egg, usually a mutual fund. You're using that to preserve, to protect, and also to distribute it out to you. Now, that's a car wreck. It's just waiting to happen, as we well saw in the 2008 stock market crash. The second reason that you probably have some of your money exposed to risk is that you might be trying to play what I call catch-up. You feel that you just haven't accumulated enough yet to retire comfortably, so you feel you have to be more aggressive. Therefore, you're looking for bigger gains faster. Well, let me tell you, that's also a disaster just waiting to happen, because it can literally wipe out or devastate your retirement savings. The third reason that you probably have money exposed to risk is probably the most common, and it's just you may have just got bad advice from a broker or an advisor. Now, think about this. Most brokers are trained to downplay risk and talk up the potential for gain. Now, I know this because I used to be one. It's not that they're bad people. That's just what they're trained to do. They think in terms of growth. Think about your own broker or your advisor now. Do they talk more about growth potential or preservation and safety? Do they talk more about gain or how to ensure that the money is going to last your entire lifetime? At a retirement age, your needs are much different than when you're in your accumulation stage when you're younger. Now let's talk more about Warren Buffett real quick. He's arguably the most successful and most famous investor in the world. His famous rule of investing is, quote, never lose money, ever. Now, this is not because Mr. Buffett is Ebenezer Scrooge or Simon Legree. It's because he, like every other sophisticated investor, understands what I call the physics of money. Now, Mr. Buffett knows that because of the physics of money, if he loses money, he needs to have a greater gain, a greater percentage gain than what his gain was or his loss was. In other words, because of the physics of money, let me give you an example. Anybody who lost 40% of their retirement savings in the stock market crash of 2008, which many did, they had to make close to 70% gain to recoup the loss, the 40% loss from that financial disaster. That's because of the physics of money. Here's something I want you seniors out there to think about. The huge crash of 2008 and 2009 was close to 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. Most seniors that are under age 65 today, they were still working during the last crash. So I hear this all the time. Well, Rick, I lost 40% in the last crash in 2008 and 2009 in my 401k, but it came back by 2003. And there are 2 very specific reasons for that you need to hear and be very aware of. First, you were probably still working during that time when it was building back up. So if you were still working, you were still contributing to your retirement plan. Secondly, and most importantly, you weren't taking any money out of it to live on, or, as you folks over 70 and a half know, your required minimum distributions. So over time, you were able to recoup that 40% loss because, number one, you were still contributing Number 2, you weren't taking any money out. And number 3, we experienced a 6-year bull market. However, things are different now if you're over 65. Number 1, you're no longer contributing to your retirement plan. And number 2, you're most likely taking money out to live on. Or if you're at 70 and a half, you're forced to take out as much as 4% for your required minimum distributions. That's a huge difference. So if you're no longer contributing and you're also taking money out, think about this. Any money that you lose is magnified. It's devastating. In fact, I tell seniors today, if you lose money in the market and you are taking out RMDs, that money may never be recouped. You may never recoup those losses. But, I have people tell me all the time, but Rick, my retirement savings, they're diversified in the mutual fund that I have, and I'm diversified up a little bit. So I just tell them, look, that's not diversification. You're still exposed to market risk. There used to be a common rule of thumb that financial advisors would use when they're educating their clients. When interest rates go up, the stock market goes down. When the stock market goes down, bonds and golds go up. And conversely, when interest rates go down, the stock market goes up, bond and golds go down. But in 2008, that theory was blown out of the water. That year, everything went down, and we may very well see that again. My engineer, Joe, is telling me we have to take a break. You're going to want to come back because we've got an awful lot to talk about. Thanks for joining us at Safe Money Talk.
Never before has there been a piece of legislation that impacts so many Americans in so many ways as the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. This ponderous bill is now the law of the land, yet many of us do not yet fully understand how it impacts our health care, our finances, even our retirement. It's hard to get past all the political rhetoric and grandstanding politicians and learn the truth about Obamacare. That's why Rick Luwag wants to offer you his free Obamacare Survival Kit. This kit contains information you need right now to protect your business and retirement from the effects of Obamacare. There are no strings attached, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose by calling Rick's toll-free number right now and reserving your copy. That's 1-800-284-3887. Your survival kit is waiting for you now at 1-800-284-3887. That's 1-800-284-3887.
If you're a senior on Medicare or are about to enroll in Medicare, you need to pay close attention to this. Many seniors are making mistakes with their money from which they will never recover, simply because they don't understand how Obamacare will affect them in retirement. For a limited time, we're offering a free Obamacare Survival Kit containing information you must know in order to protect your retirement. Call toll-free right now to reserve your copy. 1-800-284-3895. Again, that's 800-284-3895.
Are you thirsty for books that will fill your soul with wisdom, joy, and inspiration? Then take a refreshing and nourishing drink at Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore, located in the heart of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City, which incidentally was recently featured on The Today Show. From aromatic soy candles to best-selling authors like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and a whole host of other visionaries, Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore has everything to soothe your body, spirit, and soul. For more info and directions, visit agapelive.com today.
Do you have a broken window or rock chip on your vehicle that needs repair? Give us a call at HM Auto Glass, 951-858-5190. HM Auto Glass is your locally owned and operated auto glass specialist, offering low cost and high quality auto glass repair and replacement. We also work with all major insurance companies and offer free mobile service. So call us, 951-858-5190. That number again is 951-858-5190.
Southern California's Inland Talk Express is KCAA News Talk 1050.
Welcome back. This is Rick Luwag, and you're listening to Safe Money Talk. Risk. Risk is a four-letter word when it pertains to your retirement savings. There are three major risks to your retirement savings, which everybody's familiar with. Those are market risk, taxes, and inflation. Now, those threats have been attacking and eating away at retirement savings since retirement savings were created. Every advisor and every client has discussed those threats to their retirement savings and how to deal with them. However, now, there's a new risk which poses an even bigger threat to your retirement savings than market risk, taxes, or even inflation combined. In fact, this new threat to your retirement nest egg poses what I would consider to be the greatest threat ever to Americans' retirement accounts. The reason I say this is because this threat has the potential to completely wipe out your retirement savings as fast as a wave of the rising tide wipes away a child's sandcastle on a beach. And nobody has been warning seniors or business owners about it. But I'm warning you about it now. What's this new financial equivalent of Ebola? Well, it's the Affordable Care Act, or better known as Obamacare. That's right, Obamacare. I bet you thought Obamacare was only a health care law. Well, I want to tell you, nothing today threatens your retirement nest egg more than the new law, Obamacare. Not a stock market crash, not a real estate crash, not the price of gold crashing, nothing. Nothing poses a greater threat to your retirement savings than that one law, the Affordable Care Act. Nobody is immune from it, but nobody is harmed by it more than seniors on Medicare and business owners. Why seniors? Because it's the only threat to your retirement savings which can completely wipe it out in the blink of an eye. And nobody, not your insurance agent, not your financial advisor, not your broker, not even your CPA, are warning you about it. If you're a business owner, it has the capacity to cripple your business to the point it could destroy it. Now, don't you think if something is that big of a threat to your money, that one of your advisors should be warning you about it? If they haven't, it's because they don't know how or why it poses the greatest threat to your retirement savings or your business. That's why they're not warning you about it. They don't know why. But I do, and I can tell you exactly why, and more importantly, how to protect yourself. Call right now and ask for one of my Obamacare survival kits. There are two versions of this: the Obamacare Survival Kit for seniors and the Obamacare Survival Kit for business owners. In these, you're going to learn exactly how Obamacare impacts your retirement savings or your business and what steps you can take to minimize the negative impact. There's usually a cost of $49 for the senior survival kit, $99 for the business owner kit. But if you call now, 800-274-3894, just tell the operator that you're a Safe Money Talk listener, and we'll send it out to you at no charge. Or you can go to the website, www.myobamacaresurvivalkit.com, and you can get it there at no cost. Now, before you start rolling your eyes and saying, well, here we go again, somebody bringing politics into everything, just hold your horses. Regardless what side of the political aisle that you might sit on, regardless if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, a Libertarian, or even a communist, conservative or liberal, doesn't matter, whether you like the new law or whether you hate it, none of that matters. What does matter is it's the greatest threat to your retirement savings and your business if you're a business owner, and here's why. Like most financial advisors, in 2009, I never expected Obamacare to pass, so I ignored all the hoopla and the hyperbole. When it was passed, to everybody's surprise, in 2010, I still didn't pay much attention to it because I felt that the provisions of the bill with the worst bite, they weren't going to take effect until January of 14, and there was a chance, just a chance, that the new administration would be elected in the 2012 election, and hopefully the worst provisions of that bill would never see the light of day. But unfortunately, the election of 2012 ensured that Obamacare would not be repealed and confirmed that it was here to stay. Now, I had no other choice than to learn everything I could about how it was going to impact my clients. So I spent from November of 2012 until the next spring with a CPA and a tax attorney learning everything we could about Obamacare and how it would impact our clients. What we learned shocked and concerned all three of us. It then became my mission to start warning anyone who'd pay attention how the bill was really going to impact their lives. Since 2012 election, I've written 2 books on Obamacare, and I've spoken to thousands of people around the country, both live and on syndicated radio show, about how the Affordable Care Act is going to impact them and how to protect their family and their business and their money from it. Prior to 2013, I could tell clients, just get to age 65 and you're in the clear. You'll then be eligible for Medicare, and you can see any doctor and use any hospital in the country. Just purchase a Medicare supplement, pick up the 20% that Medicare doesn't cover, and you will never have a large medical bill, let alone a catastrophic one. But since the end of 2013, that advice is no longer true. Here's why. Because written into the Affordable Care Act is more than $700 billion of cuts in Medicare reimbursements. Medicare reimbursements is the amount that the United States government pays to doctors and hospitals to treat you Medicare patients. What this means more specifically is that every medical provider in the country who treat Medicare patients are going to take a big pay cut. The Medicare reimbursement reductions in Obamacare have already forced many doctors and hospitals to limit the number of new Medicare patients that they're accepting. Some of you have already seen it happen. And some doctors and hospitals are announcing they plan to stop treating Medicare patients altogether because they won't be able to afford to continue treating them because of the reduced amount Medicare plans to pay them. You might think I'm Chicken Little just crying that the sky is falling, but this medical provider decrease won't always be voluntary for the doctor or hospital. Starting in 2014, many of your doctors found out from you Medicare patients that they were no longer on their Medicare or Medicare Advantage plan networks, and they were kicked off and excluded by either the insurance company or Medicare altogether. Now, this decrease in the medical providers that treat Medicare patients, it couldn't come at a worse time. 10,000 Americans are becoming eligible for Medicare every day for the next 12 years. This makes as much sense as decreasing lanes on the freeway doing rush hour traffic to decrease the reimbursement rates for Medicare patients. But I don't want you to think for one single minute that this is all done by accident. It's absolutely done deliberately. You see, the framers and the proponents of Obamacare, they're convinced that the cause of these out-of-pocket, out-of-control medical expenses is due to the greedy for-profit healthcare industry. Specifically, an overzealous Medicare provider network that has been overprescribing, overtreating, and overcharging the underwriters of Medicare, which is the federal government. In other words, seniors are getting too much medical care at the expense of the U.S. taxpayer. Consequently, now I'm not saying this is what I believe the framers thought. Now, consequently, for anyone who's researched and studied Obamacare, like me and my partners, it's evident that the design of the new law is to decrease the amount of medical care seniors have access to, not to increase it. And one way it accomplishes this is by decreasing the amount of doctors and hospitals that Medicare patients have access to. And one way they are decreasing available providers for Medicare patients is to decrease the amount they pay them, making it economically impossible for them to treat you. Now, I know it sounds sinister and untowards, but it's absolutely true, and it's already happening. Doctors and other Medicare providers are starting to find that the gap between the rising cost to run their medical practice or their business and what Medicare is reimbursing them is getting wider and wider, and soon it's going to be so impossible to afford to continue to treat these Medicare patients. In Southern California, one of the largest providers of home health care discontinued to accept Medicare as a payment at the end of 2014. A home health care provider. Now tell me an industry that has a higher percentage of seniors as customers than home health care. Now my engineer Joe tells me that there's somebody who wants to call and talk about this. So Tammy, we have Tammy from Northern California. Tammy, are you there?
Hey, Rick, can you hear me?
Hello, Tammy.
Hey, Rick, I'm out here in the Bay Area, and I guess you could say I'm sort of a trophy wife because my husband is considerably older than I am, and he has to apply for Medicare this year.
Oh, okay.
So in anticipation of that, we've been, getting all our research done and going from place to place. And what we've discovered here in the Bay Area is exactly what you just said. We compared, I happen to have, because I have friends in the industry, and I have friends that are that work at hospitals. So I had an old provider network list, and I just wanted to see for grins and giggles how many people have disappeared off that list, and it is amazing. I mean, we're looking for people who used to, I mean, everywhere I went before, it used to say, we accept Medicare patients, accepting Medicare patients, and now it's the opposite. We cannot find a doctor for him anywhere close drive for us.
Where are you at, Tammy? What county do you live in?
I'm in Contra Costa County.
That's
and,
a very...
And a couple of, actually, it's funny because a couple of providers on the Obamacare side have also dropped off since the exchange opened here in California. And it's a lot of doctors are telling me privately, because I go to a health club where there are a lot of doctors that are members, and they're telling me, hey, we can't afford to do some of these surgeries for the prices that they're going to reimburse us. I mean, it's just the way it is. And so it's going to be difficult for us to find the kind of doctors that my husband needs. You know, it's going to be really, really tough.
Well, Tammy, I want to send you my new book. So stay on the line. Joe will get all your information. I want to send it to you because it's going to give you some valuable information on what you and your husband can do to mitigate some of this negative impact that this bill's having on you. So I want to thank you for calling. Thank you very, very much. Stay on the line, and Joe's going to get all your information. We're going to send that right out to you, okay?
Thank you very much and for bringing this to people's attention.
Okay, Tammy. God bless you. Thanks for calling. Wow, there you go. In fact, I want you to know it's my prediction that within the next 5 years, there's going to be so few doctors and clinics and other medical providers that will accept Medicare that having Medicare will be no better or no different than having Medicaid or Medi-Cal in California. Now, if you're over 50 years old and you're listening to this and this doesn't scare you, then I'm telling you that it should. I'm over 50, and I know what's going on behind the curtain, and it concerns and frightens me. And if I'm concerned, let me tell you, you should be concerned. But what you might be wondering is this. Well, Rick, this sounds awfully bad, but, what does this mean to me, and why does Obamacare threaten my retirement savings of all things? Well, what it means to you is this. If you're a senior on Medicare, your choices for doctors and hospitals will most likely decrease in the future, not increase. What that means is this. If you get really, really sick, the chances are that the doctor or hospital that you need to go see to save your life, to keep you alive, may not accept your Obamacare plan or your Medicare or your Medicare Advantage plan. They might not be on your network. So you will have to pay out of pocket. You will have to pay cash in order to stay alive. So all kinds of new industries are popping up, like medical tourism. But what I'm basically predicting is this. Is because of the decrease in access to Medicare providers and Obamacare network shrinking, a critical or terminal illness could very well bankrupt a senior. That's why I said it's such a great risk to your retirement savings. If you think I'm Chicken Little just crying the sky is falling, then you're mistaken. It's already happening. Remember this. In 2012, I made several predictions about what I thought was going to happen to everybody, seniors and business owners, as a result of Obamacare. Unfortunately, in 2015, every single one of those predictions has come true, unfortunately. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this. Now, if you want to learn way more about this, in my new book, You're Going to Need a Bigger Boat, I describe in detail how Obamacare is going to decrease your access to health care, increase your overall cost of health care, and why it poses the greatest risk of all to your retirement savings. I want you to have the book, so call now at 800-274-3894 and just tell them that you're a Safe Money Talk listener, and we'll send the book right out to you absolutely free. If you don't want to call in, just visit the website, www.myobamacarebook.com, and we'll send that right out to you. Now, I can also show you several financial products and strategies that can protect your assets from a devastating medical expense due to this Obamacare bill, and which can increase your overall access to health care in the future. So the bottom line is this. In the future, you're going to have decreased access to medical care and increased cost. I have to take a short break now. You're listening to Safe Money Talk with Rick Lewag. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors on Medicare, pre-retirees, and business owners. If you're thinking that Obamacare won't affect you, think again. The more you learn about Obamacare, the more you will discover that everyone is affected by this legislation, seniors and business owners most of all. Take steps now to safeguard yourself, your family, your business, and your retirement income from the ravages of Obamacare. Call Rick Luag's toll-free number 1-800-284-3887 and Rick will rush you a complimentary copy of his popular Obamacare Survival Kit. This kit will help you discover ways you can lessen the impact of Obamacare on you, your loved ones, and your business. Obamacare is here, and it could very well threaten everything for which you have worked so hard. So, call 1-800-284-3887. Again, that's 1-800-284-3887 to get your Obamacare Survival Kit today. It's absolutely free.
Attention seniors on Medicare, if you think Obamacare won't affect you, think again. The more you learn about Obamacare, the more you'll discover that everyone is impacted, especially seniors on Medicare. You must take action now to safeguard your wealth from the unintended consequences of Obamacare. Call our toll-free number at 1-800-284-3895 and we'll rush you a free copy of our popular Obamacare Survival Kit. Call 1-800-284-3895 now and reserve your copy. Again, that's 1-800-284-3895.
Like to spend a few days in another world? Then write this down. Golden Bear Cottages, Big Bear Lake. Now, listen, this is not some corporate-owned operation. It's family-owned and operated by some real nice people. Unique? Oh, you bet. Golden Bear Cottages features 28 one-of-a-kind cabins on a 5-acre historic site. Great for families, couples, and groups. And cabins are available with 1 to 7 bedrooms. Golden Bear Cottages is just a stone's throw from Big Bear Lake and super close to 3 great ski areas. Now, I could go on all day about Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear, but to see everything, just go to goldenbear.net. Again, goldenbear.net. Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear. Clean, comfortable, and affordable. Check them out. goldenbear.net.
Southern California's Inland Talk Express is KCAA News Talk 1050.
Welcome back. This is Rick Lewag, and you're listening to Safe Money Talk. Now, in the last segment, I briefly explained how Obamacare will decrease seniors' access to medical care while dramatically increasing their potential out-of-pocket costs. But it also poses the single greatest threat ever to their retirement savings. In this last few minutes and segment of the show, what I want to do is I want to explain as concisely as possible why Obamacare is so bad for business owners. The first thing I want to say about Obamacare regarding business owners is this, that I can find no economic reason at all whatsoever why any business of any size should offer employee benefits through a traditional employer-sponsored health insurance plan. None, period. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that employers shouldn't offer benefits. I'm just saying that in all my research, as the way things are now, I can find no economic reason why any business owner should offer benefits through an organized, traditional group health insurance plan. Now, I know I'm contrarian in this thinking. However, nothing that's happened since the bill's passing has changed my mind. Consider this. If you're a business owner and the government offered to subsidize your rent or the mortgage on your business space with no strings attached at all, would you do it? What if the government offered to subsidize your marketing and your advertising cost with no strings attached? Would you do it? Of course you would. Why not? Well, think about this. The government is offering to subsidize your employee benefits with no strings attached. So why aren't you doing it? In the United States, over 85% of all of Americans' incomes qualifies them for a health insurance subsidy from the government. 85% of the people in the United States qualify for a subsidy based on their income. Now, unless you have a high-tech company or a healthcare company with huge salaries, high-income earners, the chances are most likely that most of your employees would qualify for a subsidy through the exchange. But here's what most business owners don't know. The moment that you offer group health insurance through your plan, through your company, you automatically disqualify your employees from a subsidy. Let me give you a quick example. If I get group health insurance from an employer, and the employer typically pays for the employee, I've got my wife and my 2 children. I've got to add them because of the individual mandate. Everybody has to be covered. The employer doesn't have to pay for the spouse and dependents, but I do. So I have to put them on the group plan, my wife and children. Typically, most group plans to add the spouse and dependents are really expensive. If I qualified for a subsidy, I could go to the exchange, get the exact same plan that I could get through my group health insurance, but I could get subsidized, so my out-of-pocket would be a lot less, even though I'm paying for everything because I'm getting a subsidy. But because my employer is offering a health insurance plan, I don't get that subsidy. Now, I've got somebody on the line that I've asked to call in, a very good friend of mine and a partner of mine. She's been in the group health insurance business for over 25 years. She's still young. I think she's 25, 30. But she's a good friend of mine, and she's very, very smart in this. Mary, are you on? Mary Koger?
Yes, I am. Hi, Rick.
How are you? Thanks for calling in. Listen, Mary Koger is probably one of the most versed and experienced people in this market. And a couple years ago, her and I met together on this very subject. She heard me speak on Obamacare, and she was an avid group health insurance proponent, okay? Now she's evangelistic about business owners not offering group health insurance, but you still believe that they should offer benefits, right, Mary?
Absolutely.
Well, tell me what you're finding out there from business owners. How are they thinking? What are they saying? What are they doing? And what are you finding?
Well, I think there's a lot of uncertainty and fear. And I am definitely a proponent of not offering group health insurance just for the very things that you're saying, that there just is not an advantage to an employer any longer, and you're actually hurting your employees if you're offering a group health plan. However, most businesses are reluctant to the change. They don't understand the law. They're fearful of the penalties. They're fearful of all of the things that go with it. And it's just so huge for them to comprehend.
Well, you know, I expect that you and I, after these shows, are going to have hitmen sent on us by group health insurance agencies. But, you know most of the group health insurance agencies in the Inland Empire. Have you found that their agencies are growing new clients, or are they losing clients because of this new law?
I think they're losing clients. I think for those that are embracing this law and consulting with their clients in a realistic way are gaining from it, because they're guiding them through the process and helping them deal with, if you're a business in California today, you have compliance issues. And if you offer a group health plan, you have even more compliance issues. So the law is designed for the very things that you were saying to trigger certain events. And if you offer a group health plan, you have to understand that you are now subject to some of these compliance issues.
Wow. Now, didn't they just pass a law, Mary, in Washington, that each state now gets to determine what is a small and what is a large business? What does that mean, Mary? What does that really mean to business owners in California?
In my opinion, I think it's saying, you know what, this is the first step in guiding us and moving us into universal health insurance. Because when you look at the way this law is designed, when you offer a group health plan, you've now triggered certain components. If you understand Covered California, and if most agents would have taken the time to really understand the enrollment process of Covered California, then there are certain questions that they're going to ask about your employer's group health plan, right in that app that triggers certain issues for employers in California. So they need to be aware of that. And if you offer group health plans and you don't make it affordable, and you have an employee that goes to the exchange and they want to get their subsidy, and you check that your employer offers group health insurance, that's a red flag.
Well, it used to be, back in the old days, the old days of group health insurance, and I know you remember this, Mary, having group health insurance was an advantage because a lot of times, a lot of employees or employees' dependents or spouses couldn't qualify for an individual plan because they had what was called a pre-existing condition, right?
Correct.
So having a group plan would ensure that all of those folks with pre-existing conditions who are precluded from getting a less expensive policy, they could now get covered. Well, since the enactment of the Affordable Care Act, every single person is automatically approved, right? Whether they have AIDS or not, they're approved for health insurance. So the advantage of having a group plan just to get everybody covered, that's gone, correct?
In my opinion, yes.
Secondly, every plan was different. You could pick different plans from different providers. Now, with the Affordable Care Act, every single plan has to be identical. In other words, they have to have all matching benefits. The only difference between a platinum, gold, silver, and bronze plan is the network, the deductible, the out-of-pocket, and the premium. All of the benefits are exactly the same, correct, Mary? Whether it's a group plan or an individual plan, right?
Correct. That is absolutely correct.
Okay, so if all the plans are the same, and if everybody gets approved no matter what, and the premiums are the same, why wouldn't a business owner send the employees to you or somebody like you or to the exchange and them get their business subsidized by the government because everybody's getting health insurance and it's the exact same plan? Why wouldn't they do it?
It's crazy to me, but what I think it is fear of change and fear of the law in general.
Do you agree that a lot of times they're getting bad advice?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I talk to business owners all the time, and here's what they're telling me. They're saying, well, Rick, I thought I had to do this. I was told that if I reimburse, my employees, that I could have a huge fine. I could have a big fine, a penalty of $100 a day per employee. Right. And there are ways to navigate through that. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we do talk about that. I know, Mary, you're familiar with my new Obamacare boot camp for business owners. It's a video training series that we did specifically for business owners. And Mary had some input into that, okay? We have that accessible to you listeners. It's called the Obamacare boot camp for business owners. It's normally $199, but for you listeners, if you want to, it's just a quick video course. It's about an hour long. It tells you everything you need to know about Obamacare for your business and gives you nice, concise, common sense, practical advice on what you can do, what your options are, and some of the things that you can do to mitigate some of the high costs and expenses of this new bill. So, Mary, any last advice for business owners today on what they should consider going forward?
Well, I think absolutely be open to change and open to new ideas for consultants who actually understand the law. I had an opportunity to work with somebody who is very, very educated in healthcare reform and understand it and learn it. And there are ways to deal with it that are practical and make sense. But unfortunately, most consultants out there want to do business as usual because they don't understand the law. They didn't take the time to understand how the exchange works and what the benefits are and how to help their employees and their employer groups through this, navigating all of healthcare reform.
Wow. Well, Mary, you've been very helpful, and once again, you've once again made me angry talking about this because, it doesn't have to be this way. Business owners can get all of the information that they need. It's out there, it's available, but I feel for business owners, Mary, because they're busy running their business. Yeah. Okay, they're being a construction guy, or they've got a roofing or a paving company, or they got a manufacturing company. They don't want to be insurance agents. They don't want to learn about Obamacare. They're just trusting whoever comes in there and tells them that, hey, you got to offer health insurance, and it's not true. It is absolutely not true. We
absolutely
we want you to get a hold of us. We've got a lot of things that we can help you with, especially if you're a business owner. Mary, thank you very much. God bless.
You're welcome.
And you did a great job. Thanks for being a guest on. Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow. You know, a few years ago, I had the privilege and the honor to meet a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ed Roski. He's a famous billionaire out of Los Angeles, and he owns majestic properties. And he told me something. He said, Rick, you know, I took all of my risks getting to where I am now. In order to preserve what I have, I eliminate risk. So at this stage in my life and career, this is Mr. Roski talking, I only invest in things with a predictable outcome which incur the least amount of risk. Now, this is sage advice, and it should be taken by seniors in America and business owners, especially in this economic climate. If you're a senior about to retire, or if you're retired now, the lesson to learn and apply from both Mr. Buffett and Mr. Roski is when it comes to your retirement savings and your business, the best offense is usually a good defense. Protecting and preserving your retirement nest egg in your business is paramount in your later years in life. So if protection and preservation are paramount with your retirement savings or your business, you'll be happy to learn that you don't have to expose your money to risk in order to make it grow. There are very safe savings vehicles that we talked about that you can use for your retirement nest egg, which actually protects 100% of the principal and annual gains and still offers you a decent rate of return. Now, I found one reason why seniors feel that they need to expose their retirement savings to risk is they mistakenly think that safe financial products are boring and just don't offer enough return. Well, I'm going to tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. There are actually safe, predictable savings products which have outperformed the Standard & Poor's 500 for the last 15 years. So if you're concerned that you might have too much of your retirement savings exposed to unnecessary risk, you can call me now at 800-274-3894 and see if I can help you preserve, protect, and prolong it. We also want to offer you my new book called You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat. In it, I explain in detail why losses to your retirement savings are so much more devastating if you're living off of it or taking your requirement minimum distributions from it. So call now at 800-274-3894. That's 800-274-3894, and I'll send that out to you absolutely free. Or you can go to the website, which is www.myobamacarebook.com. So we talked about an awful lot of stuff today. Next week, we're going to have some special guests. You're not going to want to miss that. But again, just to recap what we talked about today, number one mistake that most seniors are making is they expose too much of their retirement savings to unnecessary risk. The reason why they do that is because they think they have to do it. They've been told that they need to. That's the only way they can earn money, but that's not true. That is the number one mistake that I see seniors making is the money that they can't afford to lose under any circumstance or exposing to risk. The second thing that we talked about today was, and we're going to continue to talk about it as the weeks progress, is what I consider to be the number one risk of all to your retirement savings and your business, and that's the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. This is not a political show at all, okay? We don't talk about politics on here, but I do want you to understand something, that it's almost impossible today to talk about money and to talk about your savings and to talk about your retirement without discussing some form of politics, because politics impacts business and business impacts your money. So what you're going to hear on this show is going to be about risk mitigation, and all that. So until next week, thanks for joining us here on Safe Money Talk, and have a great week. We'll see you next week.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
California headline news. Governor Brown surrounded by women and girls today as he signed what's being called the strongest